We are here. It is hour 2 of Budweiser's weekday sports beat, and that can mean only one thing. It's rapid fire time. How are you, Vince?
I'm doing fantastic. Sean Stiers, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Doing great. Did you do anything spectacular for your anniversary yesterday?
We went out to dinner, which was nice because it was Sans children. So anytime that
Always
occurs,
nice.
that's always a good thing.
Yep.
And you know what? We honestly just walked around. After dinner and everything, we went to a place in downtown South Bend. Just walked around downtown, and just kind of took in, what was going on. It was a fairly nice evening, and it was kind of nice just to kind of walk around, kind of walk the calories off of what we just, what just took place at the restaurant. And but it's restaurant week in South Bend. So
Yes.
they got all those special menus and stuff, and so a lot of great deals down there.
We did our dinner last Saturday because we've got Jesse and his fiance coming into town, and my daughter's birthday is today, so we have
Right, yep.
much more priority. So
yes.
I was working a lot. So we did last night. We went to this place called Cascade.
Okay.
Relatively new. I think it's been around for a year. I think it was the start of restaurant week. So we got a nice deal. They were very nice. Great service and
great.
Yeah.
If you live in the area, some great deals in downtown South Bend. They have kind of special menus and, kind of some of it is 2 for 1 or, two meals for the price of one, kind of a deal. And just some really, really good deal. We went to a place called Cinco 5, I think.
Yeah. We've been there before. Good place.
Yeah. And it was very, like I said, the prices were good. Food was excellent.
Yeah. Isn't the sign doesn't it say Cinco and then the number,
Yeah. So I don't know if it's called Cinco 5 or if it's
5, literally.
Cinco, I don't know.
Cinco. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really, really good. It was really, really good. And, the Morris, I think, had something going on. So there's a lot of action downtown, but it was nice to just kind of walk around and kind of take in downtown South Bend. I don't get downtown very often. All right. It was kind of nice. Yeah.
Good stuff. Joe wants to know where Jesse is. He says he thought he was in town. He's driving here literally right now from Cleveland. They are driving here right now.
Of course, he's listening.
Dogs and all. He may be. The last time he was driving here, he was listening and kind of chiming in on the chat and all that kind of stuff. So who knows? So he'll be in town. He'll actually be in town for the next week or so. So, yeah. All right, fill in the blank on this first question. We are a little bit more than a week into training camp, and it's blank that we don't know Notre Dame starting quarterback yet.
Not overly surprising, I guess, is the best way to put it, but I would say that it's also a very good thing. That means it's a real competition. Both guys are pushing each other, and right now it's too close to call as far as we're concerned. And so I'm okay with it. I think I said before, right around our anniversary is when we're going to find out. Obviously, I was wrong. That's okay. That means it's a real neck and neck situation. So that just makes the team better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think maybe people are a little antsy about this because the last few camps, it's like it's been announced, really early in camp. But this is much more a true quarterback competition than any of the last 3. I would say, or even probably 4 going back to Jack Cohn for that matter. So
I wouldn't say that there was real competition.
No,
even though they say there was real competition, this is a legit competition. Both guys have strengths and weaknesses. Neither one of them has the quote unquote experience factor. Right. And so I really do think that it is both guys pushing each other. So I never really believed that there was much of a competition prior to this one. I still think Carr's ahead, but that doesn't mean it's over. You know what I mean? It's still a race, and the race will end when we're told that it's over.
And I think that there are a lot of situations, again, because it's only been a little bit more than a week of camp, so I didn't expect it to be announced this early.
I was hopeful.
But, I think maybe we all were to get to get it over with, and I think it's nothing but a good sign that these two are pushing each other. And, again, there are game situations they need to put them in. They, like, so to speak, need to hold their feet to the fire and see how they respond to some different things. Like when we looked at that, when they had that practice video that they released earlier this week from the stadium practice, there was obviously a pick six in there. Like it's not like day one was the only day either of the quarterbacks threw an interception or whatever. It's still, how are you going to bounce back from that? How do you respond both mentally and physically? Because the pressure, I would say most of the pressure in practice is on those two guys.
Oh, 100%. And we know from the videos and whatnot that they're going to, they're practicing on the grass at the in the practice facility, and then they're also going into the stadium. And so they're bouncing around. They're putting these guys in different situations. And, there's other position battles going on as well outside of the quarterback. And the quarterback is most high profile. And look, I was hoping it was going to be over right now for 100% selfish reasons, because I'm just sick of fielding those questions about, one versus the other and, all of these different things. But at the end of the day, I think it's probably best that they haven't made an announcement yet, because that means it's a real competition and one guy hasn't really pulled away from another one, which means one guy isn't playing poorly yet. So it's good for the team. It's good for the team. And to be honest with you, I'm interested to see when they decide that they're going to let us in on, the whole situation, John. They don't have to.
No, I know. I mean, that kind of becomes the next question. Like, will they actually tell us? Will they make it public, or will this all stay behind closed doors until Miami? It feels like Marcus Freeman is not necessarily I said, again, Eric and I talked a little bit about it in the first hour. Like, Marcus Freeman is the polar opposite of Jim Harbaugh, right? Like, he's not hiding depth charts, and he's not releasing Harbaugh not releasing a roster and all this different stuff. That's not Marcus Freeman. He's always been pretty much an open book. But there is some benefit to your team in not saying anything, not releasing a depth chart until you're out there on Sunday, August 31st, right before the game is getting ready to kick off. There's some benefit for you and your team. I don't think that it's probably going to go that way. I think we're scheduled to have a press conference with Marcus Freeman, not this weekend, but next weekend. I wouldn't be shocked if, when we go into that press conference, Marcus Freeman starts off the press conference by announcing, here's the starting quarterback. I wouldn't be shocked. Not saying that's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if you heard what I was saying.
I knew what direction you were headed. The 17th?
I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Freeman starts off the press conference with whoever the starter is going to be.
That was my exact thought, because while you were talking, I was looking up our schedule for when we're going to be there. And we don't even get an opportunity to talk to Marcus Freeman until then.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the first chance, I guess, that we're going to get a chance for him to tell us what is going on with the quarterback battle and other position battles as well. I can just see it now. He's going to come up to the podium, and it's almost going to be like a throwaway. He's like, oh, by the way, yeah, so-and-so is going to be the starter here. And we're just going to go and get ready for Miami. Any questions?
Yeah. Wouldn't be shocked by that at all. I could completely see that scenario playing out.
Me too.
Okay, well, one of these guys is not going to be the starting quarterback, and this has become a recurring question. Seen it on the Irish Breakdown Champions Lounge within the last 24 hours as well. Do you think the loser of the quarterback battle will transfer?
I would love it to be 2005 and
there's no transfer portal.
Correct. Guys aren't around to be leaving. I mean, people still left back then, right? But it was definitely not the norm. Look, both of these guys are uber talented, and whoever doesn't start is looking at least 2 years of sitting behind whoever the other guy is. I just don't see them both sticking around. Look, we already saw one of the three because, 4 months ago, this was a battle in the spring, and the guy that was in third place now has a different color helmet on, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of these guys is going to end up jumping in the portal probably at some point, depending on who it is. Look, if Kenny wins the job, maybe CJ sticks around to get his degree and then jumps in the portal. If it's the other way around, CJ Carr gets the win. Kenny has a decent chance, I think, to get his degree because this is his junior year, his true junior year. He may have a chance to get his degree by the end of, December or even into spring. So, but now I just don't see a guy like that sticking around. I just don't. Too much talent.
Yeah.
It stinks, but yes.
It's just unrealistic to think that whoever loses this quarterback derby is going to stick around. Now, I think some people think that, like, whoever the loser is, it's like, okay, I'm ejecting right now, like before the season starts. I don't see that playing out. I mean, because again, like, there's a lot of football to be played. And, odds are over the course of a season, both guys are going to see the field in some, way, shape, or form. That is likely to happen. And there's no benefit in either of them leaving before, the end of the regular season when the transfer portal actually opens, because they've both had a redshirt year at this point. So they're not going to gain anything. We were talking about the other day, there's no more COVID this and, like extra years and all that kind of stuff. We're back to the old, you've got 5 years to play 4 seasons in the NCAA as of now. So again, they've each had their red shirt. So there's no benefit to whoever doesn't win the quarterback competition to, sit out this regular season and try to preserve a year of eligibility, because it's a year that doesn't exist. And it's just, the odds are, because of what you said, these guys both have multiple years of eligibility. And, so whoever the starter is also most likely going to be back for next year. So why would whoever loses, just willingly sit behind that guy for another year when there is a transfer portal and he could go someplace else and play? So I think it's highly likely that the loser of the quarterback battle ends up transferring. But again, I don't think that happens until the end of the season.
100%. And we don't know when the transfer portal is going to be, whether it's going to be December, whether it's going to be in the spring, the early spring, late, how many there's going to be. I mean, it's amazing how this goes year to year. But I foresee both of them finishing out the football season for sure. Because you're right, there's no benefit. There's no benefit to leaving right now outside of hurt feelings, and I just don't see either one of these guys taking that path, because that just reeks of, just not a team guy, and all of those things.
I think that would be completely uncharacteristic of either one of these guys.
100% agree. So that's why I don't see it happening like immediately. It's not going to be a throwaway of, hey, Kenny Minchey won the job and CJ Carr's has left campus. Like, I don't see, or vice versa, however you want to say it, don't see that happening.
Completely agree. Fill in the blank. It's blank that Andy Staples told Dan Patrick that he would be willing to take a pie in the face if Notre Dame doesn't go undefeated this season.
Shocking. That is not the kind of thing I expect to hear from a national media source when talking about Notre Dame. I did not see that one coming. As I was reading that question this afternoon when you sent it over to me, I was like, pie in the face? Okay, so he's going to say something stupid like, if they don't win the national championship, or, something ridiculous. But he's like, undefeated? I know Notre Dame's taken some slack for their schedule, but there's not many teams out there that have a harder 1-2 punch right at the front. So
breaking in a new quarterback either way.
Yeah, and going on the road to Miami, especially after what happened the last time they were in Miami, just from a hostile environment and all of those different kinds of things. I was a little surprised. Andy Staples apparently is a Subway alum that I wasn't unaware of.
You don't typically hear national media types, that follow the sport closely, going that all in on a Notre Dame team this early in the season. It almost scares you a little bit, like to
Yeah.
hear. And I think a lot of it, obviously, some of it has to do with the fact that they did get to the national championship game last year and the resolve that they showed in a lot of different ways,
Sure.
both in that game and leading up to that game. There's a lot of buy-in on Marcus Freeman, though, I think, as well. And like Feinbaum was talking a couple of weeks ago when he was taking his shots at James Franklin, like, look at how the semifinal played out. Look at how the Georgia game played out. Close, tight games. But at the end of the day, in both cases against good teams, Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame found ways to win very close games. And it just feels like a lot of people, like that sticks with a lot of people, and like people who know what they're talking about. And I think it obviously should stick with a lot of people. I'm just so surprised that this early on, like national guys, and he's not alone. Staples is not alone. National guys are that all in on the Fighting Irish right now.
Just wild. I mean, and I've seen a lot of positive things about Notre Dame and things of that nature. But to say undefeated regular season, I mean, look, is it possible? Sean, let me ask you this. If you look at Notre Dame's schedule right now, right, are you predicting Notre Dame to lose any of those games? Like one game, Notre Dame versus the opponent, are you predicting Notre Dame to lose any of those games?
No.
Me neither.
Not right now.
But do I think they're going to go undefeated? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's different.
I mean, just look at last year.
Right, exactly.
Great season, but like Eric was talking in the first hour about Iowa State people being mad at him last year because he had Notre Dame ranked so far ahead of Iowa State, and I'm sure a lot of the clamor that he was hearing had to do with the fact that Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, and that's what anyone who wants to say anything negative, like one, calling back on Northern Illinois, but two, they're going to say, who is going to be this year's Northern Illinois? Sure. Is there going to be a team that sneaks up on Notre Dame again, and Notre Dame drops an inexplicable game that they shouldn't have otherwise lost? I think that'll be the question that'll follow Notre Dame, especially if they get past those first two games with a couple of wins.
Apparently, we got to load up on the pies in the studio.
What kind of pie? What kind of pie would you take? Like, if you're taking pies to the face, what kind of pie? I'm just going with my old standard cherry pie, baby.
Ooh.
Cherry pie to the face.
It's interesting because it's gonna stain, man. So you gotta make sure you're wearing some clothes you don't care about.
Yeah,
you're gonna take.
Don't go blueberry. Don't go blueberry face, because that like you talk about stain. You'll walk out of there with purple face if you do that.
which could be a little extra. I would go with probably like one of them cream pies, like a banana cream pie or a chocolate cream pie.
Comes off easy.
Yeah, exactly right. Still tastes good, But I don't know. Maybe I'd go that route. You don't want to go with like a pumpkin or something like that. It's too hard. You break a nose or something,
Seriously.
You gotta have something with some give.
That's true. Like if it's going to be pumpkin, it's going to have like a lot of Cool Whip.
Right.
So
exactly. I'm thinking bodily injury here, Sean.
Yes. Got to protect the face. Got to protect the assets.
Yeah, that's right. It says two guys that are on radio.
Exactly. Harry Douglas from ESPN made a list of the top 5 college football traditions. He has Notre Dame players touching the "Play Like a Champion Today" sign coming out of the locker room at number 5 on the list. It's like, okay, well, that's, it's got Notre Dame up there. Sounds good. Ohio State dotting the I on the field is number 4. Clemson's Hill and Howard Rock, number 3. Wisconsin's jump around between the third and the fourth quarters is number 2. And then Lee Corso's headgear picks on ESPN's College Game Day, number 1. Vince, I ask you, is Notre Dame being disrespected again with Harry Douglas's ranking?
I saw this, and I originally, the way you just asked the question verbally to me is very much how I read it. It was like, oh, okay, Notre Dame's number 5. Let's see who the other 4 that got in above Notre Dame are, right? And I started reading, and I was like, well, that one shouldn't be higher. That one shouldn't be higher. Look, the only one that legitimately should be higher, in my opinion, and this actually tastes very odd coming out of my mouth, is the dotting of the I for Ohio State. That's a cool tradition.
It is a cool thing. Yeah.
Okay. Like if you wanted to make that case, fine. The jump around thing, nope. Sorry.
What is that? And it's like what, a 5-year-old? I don't know how long they've been doing that.
It's not that long though.
That song, when I worked at a bar in Lawrence, Kansas, Big Daddy's in Lawrence, Kansas, since since closed. But this was freaking 1992.
Right.
I was working at like House of Pain every Friday and Saturday night with the shrill, and that song is 30 plus years old. That thing has been around. I don't know if Wisconsin's been doing it for 30 years. I don't think so. This has no place on this list.
No.
It's a cool little thing. This has no place on this list, though.
I kind of thought the same thing about the Clemson one. It was running down a hill. Like I mean, look, from an outsider standpoint, they rub a rock and then they run down a hill. Like, okay, Notre Dame, all they're doing is tapping a sign. Okay, I get it. So if you want to put those two together, then fine. I don't know what this makes me, Sean. Whenever I see Clemson entering the stadium, I always think somebody's going to get hurt. Like
I always think so too. Like I'm surprised no one's bit it coming down that hill.
Seriously, like serious injury, like somebody pop a knee, you know, something coming down there, whether it's even a coach getting hurt coming down that thing. Like that looks steep. Now I've never seen it in person. Maybe it's not as perilous as it looks, on TV, but I don't know. That's not one I would have my players doing. That's akin to riding a dirt bike.
I've got two that I think need to be. I would bump Wisconsin. I would bump the Rock, like the whole Clemson. I can't, I was a little surprised, like the Lee Corso. It is a pretty cool tradition. He's been doing it for a long time.
It is. It seems so. It's like, okay, before I don't want to jump on what you're doing, but
it's okay.
It's corny that's the number one thing because it's not associated with a specific school.
Exactly.
And so it feels out of place on this list. But it is a college football tradition that has been going on for, 30 plus years. And people are diehard wanting to know what that is going to be. So
you think they'll get Saban to
not a
do the headgear? I mean, McAfee is the natural successor. That would be.
I think he gets like a new tattoo every day with like whoever he thinks the winner's going to be, or I don't know, something. It'll be something corny. But yeah, I get it. It just feels like it doesn't belong on the list. Does that make sense? Like I'm not trying to clown anybody. It's not school specific.
Yeah. Cool tradition. I agree. It's the only one of these that's not school specific. So Sly Fox says Sandman at Virginia Tech better than Jump Around, like in terms of overall atmosphere. I think you're probably right about that. This is one that I have on my list. Ant VR, the Florida State Chief Osceola riding out on Renegade, the horse, with the spear and throwing the spear down at midfield. That's one of the coolest traditions to me, that they still do that. And, they've been doing that forever,
long time.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been doing that for a long time. I think that's a pretty cool tradition they've got. Sly Fox, another good one. Boomer Schooner when it flips over. The Boomer Schooner thing when they come out, that's always been a cool thing. And, like at Colorado, I don't know if they still do the Buffalo.
They do.
Do they do the Buffalo?
I think so.
It's pretty cool.
If I remember correctly, watching that Dion documentary, that they kind of followed the team and whatnot, he got to meet the Buffalo, and then they showed it running out on the field. So, I think that's better than something. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, my other one, much newer, but I think this is one of the coolest things that they do in college football. I bet you know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, you just waved your hand. Iowa with the players waving to the kids in the children's hospital. That's one of the coolest things ever that they have done. And that deserves to be like kick out Wisconsin and the jump around, and you put the Iowa players waving to the children's hospital kids.
And I know the hospital thing is new. It's newer. It's probably within the last decade. But how does that not rip your heart out every single time?
Well, I know
in a great way.
And having been in some of those children's hospital with my daughter, years ago, I can tell you, she met, she went to Peyton Manning Children's Hospital all the time, and she got to meet Peyton Manning once, and it's still like,
Okay.
like that has stuck with her. She didn't care anything about the Indianapolis Colts. She became a Colts fan when Peyton was with the Denver Broncos. She was a Broncos fan. Like, it's like, hey, Bailey, Iris, I can still. And Notre Dame men's basketball actually came to see her once down there. Mike Bray and the crew
awesome.
rolled through once. But it means a lot to those kids. Just little things like that means a ton.
Yeah, I think that I would absolutely agree that belongs up there. Another one that I did think of the Florida State one.
I should say, I'll go ahead and mention it. Marcus Freeman, I don't want to say when they do it, but Marcus Freeman and some players, I know he and Sam Hartman did it a couple years ago, going like the Ronald McDonald House and, here at Memorial Beacon downtown. They have started a thing where they go do some of that stuff as well.
Which is awesome. Because we spent time in the Ronald McDonald House as well when the twins were born.
Yeah.
They were premature. And so, it's an awesome service to just take one more thing off the plate of the families. And so anything in that regard, I'm a huge fan of, obviously. As far as traditions are concerned, I thought of the Florida State one. So I think that's a really good one. Another one that I don't know that people think about, I love for the Army-Navy game when they walk out, they all walk out, the
long gray line and all that stuff.
And they walk out on the field and then up into the stands, like that kind of a thing. Like, that's a college football tradition.
Good one.
Really
good one.
Yeah. So
I don't think we've got time to get into this whole next question. I don't know if we've got like a. Let me do this one real quick. Fill in the blank. After making his preseason NFL debut Thursday night, Riley Leonard's future looks blank.
Solid. I'll say solid. He made some mistakes. He made some rookie mistakes. It's his first time taking snaps. But I think he looked solid. He didn't look any worse than the other two guys that are competing for the starting position. You know what I mean? I don't think they're looking to put him out on waivers at this point. I think he looks solid.
I don't think that he is the quarterback of right now, but I think he's got a really bright future. I think that Riley Leonard is going to end up being to the Colts what they thought Anthony Richardson was going to be when they drafted him in the first round. That's the way I think that it's going to work. Richardson has shown like the guy can't stay healthy. Right. And even beyond that, he's just been so inconsistent. Like, Leonard did some really good things last night. Again, what that means this year, as long as he's on the roster, I think he could be their guy by next year at some point. Maybe not even on, like opening day next year, but some point next year, I think he could end up being the guy down there.
And he's the price is right as far as, being a 6th-round draft pick, I think is what he ended up being. And you just got to work on some stuff. He had like 4 or 5 batted balls. Okay, got to work on that. There's stuff he has to obviously work on. Still dynamic when he runs the football, Sean, and there's the place for that in the NFL.
That's right. Made some plays with his legs and his arm last night. All right, we will wrap it up with that for Vince D'Addario. Good to see you. Quickest 40 minutes in radio and web right here. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you next week. Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com.